Rising is staying at Utah for the 2023 football season. The Pac-12 is stacked at the quarterback position. It's going to be fun to watch. We're going to be covering that story. Cam Rising made the announcement right before the college championship game was played last night. And we're also going to be covering Rick George, the athletic director of Colorado Buffaloes. The athletic director, he's been there in that position since 2013. We gave him props when he hired Deion Sanders for just making the attempt to get Deion Sanders on board. We gave Rick George lots of props, but holy smokes, very odd statements coming out of Rick George in the Wilner and Canzano interview. We're going to be giving you a link in the description box, but we're going to be covering just a small part of it. Horse and buggy comments coming out of Rick George. Colorado's not leaving the Pac-12 anytime soon. That's fine, but the reasons he gave for it, very, very strange. Welcome to episode 129 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Share the video with your family and friends and smash that like button if you like our content. Let's first talk about the Pac-12 next year. Those quarterbacks. Wow. Let's take a look. 247 by Sam Marsdale just about 30 minutes ago. Cam Rising, Utah return to sparks media discussion about Pac-12's loaded quarterback situation. If you've been following us here at Peek Around the Corner, we've been talking about this for months. The Pac-12 is stacked. I'm not going to read the whole article here. I'm going to put a link in the description box below the video. However, there is one money shot that I want to talk about from Tom Fornelli, CBS Sports Cover 3 podcast. I think his tweet says it all. We'll get to that in a second. Utah quarterback Cam Rising announces return Monday leading up to the national championship game, joining a group of quarterbacks that is absolutely stacked. They're using our phrase here at Peek Around the Corner. Absolutely stacked heading into 2023. From Heisman winner Caleb Williams all the way down, there might not be a better conference in the country. There's definitely better conferences in the country, but when it comes to quarterbacks for 2023, Pac-12 has the best quarterbacks. It talks about rising statistics last season. He led Utah again to the Pac-12 championship, defeating USC 2 times. Here's Marcelo from 247. Cam rises. Pac-12 going to be as good as it's been from top to bottom in the college football playoff era. Cameron Salarino talks about gives a list of the great quarterbacks coming from for next year. Williams, USC, Bo Nix for the Ducks. Ugo Angalea transfer from Clemson, now to Oregon State. Rising coming back from Utah. DeLauro for Arizona. Sanders from Jackson State to Colorado. Michael Penix Jr. coming back again for the stacked Washington Huskies. True freshman Dante Moore going to be the leader at the Bruins. Drew Pine, a transfer from Notre Dame, is now at Arizona State. Of course, Cameron Ward, another year at Washington State. It's absolutely stacked. Here's the tweet that I want to cover from Tom Fornelli, CBS Sports Cover 3 podcast. His tweet, I'm going to read it. The number of players returning to school who probably don't without NIL could prove to be one of the best things that's ever happened to college football. I absolutely agree. It's a double-edged sword with NIL. Some great things have happened. Student athletes are getting higher compensation for their value. Student athletes are finally being treated the same way as regular students. The Supreme Court ruled it. Therefore, it shall be. They finally have the same rights. The student athletes ask the students the rights to the name, image, and likeness, and to sell it on the open market. One of the negative things about NIL, it has pushed tampering to an extreme level, and that has to be dealt with. We've talked about it here at Peek Around the Corner in other episodes. But one of the positive things about NIL, it's keeping players in the college football game for another year, especially the quarterbacks. the quarterback position. They're getting compensated higher with NIL to come back for another year of eligibility if they have it, versus going to the NFL and being drafted in the 6th, 7th round or just being there for a cup of coffee. They get to play another season. It's better for them financially, educationally, everything, to come back for another year. A lot of players are choosing it, and it's great for the college football game. I believe that's a great comment by Tom Fornelli at CBS Sports. It's one of the best things that's ever happened to college football. Players now have an option, right? Before their last year of eligibility, a lot of them would just go to the NFL and not get drafted or be drafted 6th or 7th round, especially the quarterbacks. Now they can play another year. Name, image, and likeness is giving them the higher compensation than ever before to help out themselves, the charities that they sponsor, their family members. NIL, that's one of the best things that's ever happened to college football. Bringing back the quarterbacks for another year, elevating the product of the college football game, absolutely fantastic. Give me your comments and thoughts down in the comment section below the video. I read them all. Now, let's get to a big story that actually surprised me. Maybe it shouldn't have. Maybe it shouldn't have surprised me. Shame on me. Shame on me for thinking Rick George, athletic director of Colorado, thought beyond the horse and buggy stage of college football. I'm going to provide a link here. You see it up on the screen. Colorado athletic director Rick George on the hire of Deion Sanders. I could play just the first few seconds, but I'm going to let you guys go into it. I'm going to provide the link. Athletic director Rick George said this. I'm going to paraphrase it, but right away, once you hit the play button, you'll be able to hear it. Rick George says, why would we want to join a conference? Again, I'm not taking the exact words. I'm paraphrasing it. You can listen to yourself. Why would we at Colorado go to a conference of 16 to 18 schools and leave a conference of 10 or 12? Why would we do that? It'd be easier to make the college football playoffs with a conference of 10 to 12 schools. Wow. I'm sorry, Rick George, but that is backwards thinking. That's not good news for Colorado. Now, there's lots of reason for Colorado to stay within the Pac-12 and not go to the Big 12. Most of their students come from California. Colorado, the institution, the university closely aligns with the Pac-12 schools. We've gone through this all before. But to make any decisions based upon how many number of schools there is in a particular other conference, and that it would be easier to make the college football playoffs in a conference with less schools. Look, Rick George, and everybody out there that would agree with Rick George, the playoffs are expanding to 12. They might go to 16 in a few years from now. Your decision as an athletic director should be for the good of your athletic department as a whole. You are the front porch of a university. Texas and Oklahoma did not make a mistake to go from the Big 12 to the SEC. It's going to be harder to win the conference in the SEC, but they didn't make a mistake to join the SEC. USC and UCLA did not make the wrong choice in joining the Big Ten once the opportunity was afforded them. Washington and Oregon would jump at the chance if the invite came, an official invite came from the Big Ten, they would jump in the Big Ten. Are you telling me, Rick George, that Colorado wouldn't go to the Big Ten if they got the invite just because it would be harder to win the conference championship in the Big Ten? The money difference is going to grow more and more. We talked about it during the spring at Flag Empire in our Twitter account. When we broke the news that USC called the Big Ten, it was going to do everything they could to join the Big Ten, and the Big Ten better grab them while they can. We talked about all that in the spring. We talked about the decision of the Big Ten doing a no-go for launch for further expansion on October 12th for now. But Colorado, Rick George, he's making conference realignment decisions based upon the number of schools that are in another particular conference. It would be harder to make the playoffs in another conference. You cannot make your decisions based on that. That is backwards thinking. Look, I think we can shut it down. This thought of Colorado going to the Big 12, when the athletic director is thinking in those lines, not thinking about the other issues of exposure, of money, of helping out your exposure for your student athletes. Again, I'm not saying that the right choice for Colorado is to join the Big 12. We're not saying that all at Peek Around the Corner. In fact, we've always said that the chalk, the favorite position, the favorite is the Pac-12 would hold together at 10 schools and expand with San Diego State and SMU. But listen to Rick George in the first 10 seconds of this video that they just clipped out of a bigger interview. They clipped it out. They put it in front of this video. Just hit the play button. Get to the link in the description box of this video. Rick George, his comments, that's horse and buggy type of thinking. That type of thinking does not help your university. Does not help your university at all. I don't know if Colorado would even be in the position to go to the Big 12. Don't know. Probably they would never get an invite to the Big 10. But I can tell you this. That horse and buggy type of comments from Rick George does not do Colorado any favors. Any favors at all. You do not make realignment conference decisions based upon how easy it is going to make the college football playoffs in theory. Because you have to better your university any opportunity you get. The money gap between the Pac-12 and the Big 10 is only going to grow. And Pac-12 to SEC is only going to grow. And the exposure gap between the Pac-12 and the Big 12 is growing. It's going to be huge in this next media deal. Give me your thoughts in the comments section below the video. But I think Rick George has made it pretty easy for us to see. Colorado isn't going anywhere. And that maybe is a good decision for now for Colorado. But that type of mindset, give it a listen. Let me know your thoughts. Lots to cover here in this coming weeks and months here as we head into late winter and in the spring. Keep hanging with us here at Peek Around the Corner. We cover everything, lots of things brewing, cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger. Until next time, from all of us at Peek Around the Corner to all of you, please, you all take care of each other. Thank you so very much.